Okay, so chicken and sausage gumbo. The man on the planet who does it the best is this guy right here, Paul Prudhomme. And you can tell I've used this book quite a bit. I have beat the snot out of it. But I've been making it for 20 years, and oh my lord, if you've got the time, his recipe kicks the planet's butt. However, there's a fast way, and I want to share that with you. So, 2 to 3 pounds of chicken. I usually use boned thighs. You take some of this stuff right here, or something similar, whichever one you like, Cajun spice, and you sprinkle that on there fairly liberally. Let it set. Take a half to 1 pound of andouille sausage, and then dice that up. It's good. 2 cups of onion, 2 cups of celery, 2 cups of, actually 1 cup each, of celery, onion, and bell pepper, finely chopped. That'll make your mirepoix. Set that aside. 5 quarts or so of chicken stock. Take your chicken, and then some of this. Mix the your spice in with the flour. Dredge the chicken in there. Let it set flat. Don't stack it. And then do it again a little bit later. And then you want to get as big a iron skillet as you got. Get some oil in there. Maybe about 1 inch or 2 of oil in there. And then go ahead and fry your chicken. Okay. With everything still in there, with the flour you used to dredge, don't throw that away. Set the chicken aside, let it drain, and then take your flour that you had, right, and get that ready. You want to take out probably 3/4 of the oil, but leave everything that's in the pan. Now, keep in mind, the burner's still on. You are getting that iron skillet nuclear. Okay, the darker the better with the bits and stuff. After you've fried that chicken, you kind of skim off that oil, like I said, leaving about 1/4 of it in there, and then just start to sift in out of the pan a little bit of that flour. You can use whatever a measuring cup to do that, and just kind of in there. But at the same time, you got to have a pretty sturdy whisk, and metal is best. And you want to just, or a very, substantial spatula. And be careful, because remember, it's going to be hot. So you're basically getting that stuff stirring, and you're making the roux, okay? Get it in there with the flour. Don't let it clump up. Just mix it and keep it going, okay? Teamwork works if you got that. And get that stuff going, and then about the time it turns to kind of a copper red, that's about the least flavorful. The darker it gets, the more flavorful it's going to be. Now, sometimes I'll take some minced garlic and throw it in there right at the end, right before I throw the veggies in there. I think that just kicks the flavor up a couple another notches, and it's good. So probably, a tablespoon or less. Probably half a tablespoon, you'd be fine. But you don't want to get it too dry, okay? So that's why it takes time. You have to sprinkle a little bit in, keep that stir going, and then just keep making that roux. It'll thicken up. But again, you don't want to clump it, and you don't want to get too much. So the very first time you make this, do it slow. Plan on taking time. All right. Now, once that's done and it's still going, your heat's still on, start putting the handfuls of the mirepoix in there, okay? Not everything all together. I use a spatula to stir that stuff up and keep it going. Okay, add a little bit, get it soft, put some more in, stir it, get it soft, keep going till it's all in there. Okay, and then once you get that in there, you can turn the heat down a little bit. If you have gas, you could probably turn it down a little bit. If you've got electric, you probably want to keep that heat on. Keep that mix going. And then when it gets to a point, maybe 20 minutes or so, 15 to 20 minutes down the road, that's when it's ready to go in the chicken stock that's been cooking. Now, Prudhomme does a great job of just integrating a bajillion spices, and the flavors are phenomenal. But it just adds so much time to the cooking. But it's so worth it. So in a fast way, in a few hours here, I'm using a spice, Cacheres. There's others out there that you can use. You basically can throw a little bit of that in with the stock when you first put it on. So you're taking now the mirepoix and you're putting it into the stock, and so just in little bits and pieces and stirring it up, and that will thicken obviously that stock up quite a bit. Once that's in there, the stock has already been to a boil when you're pouring that mirepoix in there and getting it in there, mixing it up. You can turn that down to about medium and let it cook for a while longer. That's about the time where you can take the diced up andouille and stick that into your pot. Okay, and I always do get a big stock pot for your chicken stock, and then the mirepoix goes in there. It's getting kind of half full. You get that andouille in there, and while that's cooking for a while, then you can go over and pull that chicken off and dice that chicken up, and then stick that into the pot right before you get ready to serve it. Now, Cajuns will use dirty rice. You can look up the recipe, or they'll use other kind of rice that's got a little bit of the mirepoix in it that's cooked with some Cajun spice. Really good. Plain rice is fine too, and even gumbo by itself with no rice is fine. It just depends on how you want to roll with it, but they're good in any way. So then you're dumping in that chicken, and 10 minutes later you're serving it to guests. This makes enough with the 1 cup or 3 cups of mirepoix and the 2 to 3 pound chicken and the half to a full pound of andouille. That'll make enough for about 6. So you can double that, right? So 6 pounds of chicken, 2 pounds of andouille, and my mouth's watering already. But you're going to have a great recipe, and you'll never ever want to do anything else. The Cajuns have been doing chicken and sausage gumbo forever. This dude mastered it, and gosh, I wish I could meet the guy. His restaurants, even in New Orleans, are awesome. But anyway, that's the way I heard it. Hope you enjoy it. Rock and roll.